Ladies invite you to our annual Christmas Red Carpet Affair, Saturday, December 10th, 2022, at the Clarion Hotel and Suites, formerly the Holiday Inn Select, 2240 Democrat Road, Memphis, Tennessee. Music by the legendary Doctor. Special guest performance by none other than Mr. Sam.
I changed my mind. That's all I need to know. But baby, can we dance just one time before we go? Jump up, roll it, jump back, roll it to the left, roll it back to...
Tickets are going fast. Yes, they're on sale now. $30 in advance, $40 at the door. Red carpet starts at 8 p.m. You don't want to miss the Sophisticated Ladies Christmas Red Carpet Affair. So get your tickets and you be there. Miss Blanche Jones, founder and president.
Well, see, when you look at somebody like me, I grew up here. There's nothing you can tell me about Memphis that I don't already know.
There's nothing you can tell me about Memphis.
From the boardroom to the streets.
That I don't already know.
Look Mike for Memphis, man. Together we can fix things. Really?
When you say, I want to be treated fairly, and I want a voice.
Yeah. He saw
voice.
things weren't fair, so he chose to run for mayor. You get up and do something when you really care. It's Memphis 360.
I'm with you.
In the meantime,
It's Memphis 360.
In the meantime, in between time, we got folks shooting people up out the frame. Ain't nobody said a word. We've become accustomed to people dying in this city.
Yeah. It's Memphis 360.
Turning the TV on and the news and see our loved ones and see young people that are out of control. And now you see, okay. We talk about incarceration. We talk about the youth. We talk about giving them the ability. We talk about investing in young people and investing in the community. See, I hate ignorance. I hate when people make decisions about things and they make statements and they haven't done their research.
How can you fix the problem when you don't even know what the problem is?
We need some help in this city.
It's Memphis 360.
See, I hate ignorance.
It's Memphis 360. Man.
Here we go. And good evening. We'd like to welcome you to another edition of Memphis 360, the television show we said we'd like to go from the boardroom to the streets. And we like to go from the boardroom to the streets because there's so much going on here in the city of Memphis. We got so many people running for different political offices. We got so many people trying to run this city. And a lot of times they're in the boardroom, but they don't really know what's going on in the streets, where the rubber meets the road. And they're trying to affect our lives. They affect our lives on a daily basis with the fiduciary responsibility of all of our tax dollars and different things like that. It is the 1-year anniversary of the murder of young Dolph. And they're celebrating and having memorial services here in the city of Memphis on today. You know, we lost a treasure when we lost young Dolph. Yeah, he was a rapper, but he was giving back to his community. He was actually killed in his community, doing something that he loved best, and that was just getting cookies from Makita's Cookies up there on Airways, where we all go, a lot of people here in the city of Memphis, to get those butter cookies. You know, those cookies we used to get in school. I know I used to trade all of my little lunch tickets so that I could get some of those buttered cookies, man. Those were the deal. I'd rather eat those than to eat my lunch. But every time young Dolph, you know, multi-millionaire, every time he was here in the city, he would actually stop by Makita Cookies and to get him some cookies. But unfortunately, this day, he stopped up there on Airways to get him some cookies, and he was gunned down. in his own community, the community that he always helped, the community that he always gave back to. And believe it or not, he was in Memphis right before Thanksgiving this time last year because he was going to give out turkeys and all of that kind of stuff back to the Castalia community, which he came out of, and back to the individuals here in the city of Memphis. You know, that was so unfortunate that that happened that day. And I can remember it vividly, sitting in my office and someone tagged me on Facebook, I believe, and I was actually able to see the crime scene because everybody went live as soon as it happened, and you were able to actually see him as he succumbed to his injuries up there at the store. They shot the front window out at the store and all of that kind of stuff, you know, and it's so sad that Memphis is getting such a bad reputation for all of the homicides and murders that are being committed here in the city of Memphis. It is so, so, so unfortunate. And unfortunately, you know, I have this shirt on for Ride of Tears. And anybody know about the organization Ride of Tears? That's the organization where they have like a children's hearse. Unfortunately, you have to have a children's hearse. It's an organization that's dedicated to the babies and the young people that are being killed, not only just in this city, but when they had the mass shooting down in Texas and all of those young kids were killed in the school down there, they actually went down to that town as well. But they're based right here out of the city of Memphis. And I just happened to go to an event that they had in front of City Hall about 2 weeks ago that they were just bringing awareness to all of the babies and the young people that were being killed here in the city of Memphis. About a week and a half ago, we had another baby. I believe it was an 18-month-old little girl that was killed out in an area they call near New Chicago in the city of Memphis. And unfortunately, it was a set of twins in the car at that particular time. Some young lady had an altercation with another young lady, and it was over some guy, over a man. Oh, I guess it was a man, over a guy. And because they got into a physical altercation, someone said the young lady asked, "Where's the gun? Where's the gun?" And somebody gave this young lady a gun, and the young lady fired into the car. Supposedly the car was occupied by the two babies, and I believe it was 3 or 4 other individuals, and one of the babies was hit and struck. What do you say? What do you say? I mean, you know, when you shoot into a car and there are babies in the car, have we come to the point that we are so far gone, you're so pissed off, you're so upset, you can't control your emotions, you have no conflict resolution skills other than to grab a gun. You know, we talk about all of the people that are doing things to our community. We talk about, you know, how the man is holding us down. I guess the government or whomever. We talk about, you know, all of the individuals, you know, and I know I get on here all the time and I talk about, a lot of the politics and the politicians and how they're not giving back to the community the way that they should, how they're not supporting a lot of the grassroots organizations that are actually out here in the community working. Yes, I talk about all of that stuff all the time, but at some point we have to take responsibility for our actions. We have to stop some of the things that are going on in our community. We have to stop our babies, our sons, our daughters, our mothers, our fathers, our brothers, our sisters, our cousins, our uncles, our aunts from being killed in this city. We can no longer continue to blame everybody else. You know, I put a post up this morning, and the post said, we got to stop teaching our children that you got to be rich. We got to stop teaching them you got to be rich. Now, don't get me wrong. I've spent my whole life working, trying to be financially stable so that I could take care of my family, so that I could be the example for my children. But money don't buy you happiness. And you can't be chasing that almighty dollar at the expense of everybody else. You can't do that. We got to start teaching our children values. We got to start teaching our children that happiness does not come in the form of $400 jeans or $300 tennis shoes or a $150 shirt that has a little funny looking character on it. We got to stop teaching our children that all of this name brand stuff is where it's at. Because I don't know how many rich people, no matter how much money they have, are still unhappy. I don't know how many rich people, no matter how much money that they have, still commit suicide. I don't know how many rich people can't buy health. You know, I was looking at this thing about one of the guys who was one of the founders of Apple. Can't remember his name off the top of my head, but he died. And one of the things that he said was, I don't care if you buy a $5 bottle of wine or a $300 bottle of wine. The end result is they still both get you drunk. I don't care if you buy a Maybach or a Toyota. The road and the distance that they travel are still the same. I don't care if you live in a $60,000 house or a $25 million mansion. It's still a roof over your head. Now, this guy was a billionaire. I think he was worth $7 billion. But he had cancer. And he said, I can't rent somebody and I can't pay nobody to carry this disease. Our values are all messed up. Our values that we're teaching our children, we done got away from core values. We done got away from the family unit. We done got away from bringing integrity and maintaining that integrity within our community. We done got away from being a proud people. Now we just all over the place, and it's about that almighty dollar. And I also would say it's about that almighty dollar to them. They forget that we put them in position so that they could have our best interests at heart. I think they was talking about this city council person that they put in. I'm not going to call her name. But they talked, and she was just temporary, but they talked about how bad she treated the staff. They talked about how they can't wait for her to get out of there. But at the same time, the city council had to vote to put her on. The people didn't vote, the city council voted. And they was talking about, I believe, say, yay, yay for the showboats. Yeah, Mayor Jim Strickland for bringing the showboats back. Y'all better start educating yourselves on what's going on around you. Why are you voting? And who are you voting for? And different things like that. They're talking about spending $600 and some million over at the Fairgrounds project. They just completed, or they're in the process of completing, the softball or hardball or AUSA ball facility over there, because they want to bring or try to lure a lot of the AUSA softball tournaments from Hernando, Mississippi to Memphis. I get it. But they sold it to you as, we're going to build a facility for the youth in this city and da-da-da-da-da and this, that, and the other. They're building that facility for competitive ball. Most of our children don't play competitive ball. They can't afford to play AUSA ball because it costs money. Anybody that have their children enrolled in those types of sports know it costs money. Now, I would have had no problem if you're going to build this complex and it's going to be open to all of the kids here in the city of Memphis and give them something to do, especially because you're utilizing my tax dollars. But now you're asking for $600 and some million because you want to redo Liberty Bowl Stadium. You want to tear down the Coliseum and you want to build a soccer field. Well, first of all, leave the daggone Coliseum alone. I don't care, Mr. Strickland, that you have no historical ties to the Coliseum. And all of your buddies that you're garnering all of this money for, they could care less about the Coliseum because it's about the almighty dollar for them too. So in his last months in office, his last year, he's trying to gather all of this money that they're going to be paying out to all of these entities here in the city of Memphis. The rich are going to get richer. Individuals are going to benefit from your tax dollars. Yet, the citizens have said, leave the Coliseum alone. We want the Coliseum. And he has no regard for it. But guess what? He don't get 3 terms. He doesn't get 3 terms because they couldn't get the resolution or the referendum passed to extend the term limits. So you better believe he's going to go balls to the walls right now. And he's going to spend all of the money that he can. He's going to put money in everybody's pockets that he can. And the citizens, once again, are footing the bill. Yeah, you footing the bill. Because guess what? They get bonds to pay for all of that. But guess who has to pay the bonds off? The taxpayers. Then they're going to turn it into a TIF, tax incremental financing, and a TDZ, tax designated zone. So anytime you go over there and spend money, it's going to cost you more. And if you look at your receipt, you're going to see like a 14% tax on it. So you're going to be paying for all of these rich people, yet you're going to be the one paying the bill. But oh, y'all couldn't wait to vote him back in. And if he runs for something else, you're going to vote for him for that too, because his water is colder. I don't know why his water is colder, but for some reason, his water is colder. And I'm not talking about a black and white thing. I'm talking about a person who cares truly and a person that does not care truly thing. Y'all better rebuilding of the city of Memphis. I have no problem with if you want to do the Liberty Bowl Stadium or if you want to build a soccer field somewhere. I have no problem footing that bill. But I'm saying in the process of footing that bill, let me pay for something for my children too. We keep saying that that's a major problem. We keep saying that we have nothing for our children to do. We keep saying we want to change and engage the youth in this city. We keep saying that there is a problem with our youth. We keep saying it, yet we do nothing except for we want to lock them up. Some of these little bad knuckleheads can't be saved. And I get that. And we have to deal with them under the terms of law enforcement. But we also have a responsibility to deal with the young kids that are coming up that we can save, that we have the ability, you know, those little babies that we see that have a twinkling in their eye, they just looking for a glimmer of hope. We have an opportunity. Are our children to you? Why do I have to get on here all the time and I'm begging you to care for your own kids? I'm begging you to give your kids something to do. I'm begging you to ensure that those individuals you have given stewardship of this city, to hold them responsible for your children, for the tax dollars that they utilize for everything else except our babies. I don't know. I'm on one today. And I'm on one today because I know God is good. I'm on one today because God keeps blessing me. I'm on one today because somewhere in my soul and in the back of my mind, God keeps telling me that there has to be a voice. There has to be somebody that speaks out. You know, there are people that don't really want me to prosper. There are people that don't really want me to get ahead. There are people that would really love to tear me down. But see, Jesus was crucified. Stephen was stoned. And John the Baptist was beheaded. So who am I to feel that I won't be persecuted? Especially when I speak out against those things that are not right. Especially when I try to educate the people to have faith in yourself, to have belief in yourself. There are cities all around this country, if half the stuff that has occurred here in the city of Memphis, those people would be up in arms. Those people would hold their elected officials accountable. Those people, those same people, would not tolerate half the stuff that has occurred in this city. We keep seeing them doing outlandish things. Joyce Ray, he around here laying everybody down. Everybody know he laying everybody down. But instead of finishing the investigation and allowing the true results of the investigation to come out, we get this man $480,000. Then we give him a year contract to be able to advise the new superintendent. And I don't have anything against Joyce Ray. I'm talking about the process. Because to me, what does that tell our children? And I asked an official that's possibly running for mayor, I said, how could y'all do that? Well, we didn't want to drag it out and, embarrass the kids or bring it out in front of the kids. Oh, so you want to show the kids that it's okay to be an adulterer. You want the kids to know that if you go do this kind of stuff, we're going to give you $480,000. What kind of message is that sending to the kids? See, we talk about children today. Ride of tears. We're talking about children that are dying. We're talking about parents that are losing their babies. We're talking about parents that can't take care of their kids. We're talking about parents that are weeping at night. We're talking about single mothers that are asking for help. We're talking about young people that are out here lost. We're talking about young women that have no self-esteem anymore. We're talking about young boys that are lost in the wilderness. And it's our responsibility to shine a light and show them the way. But how can we shine a light and show them the way if we're allowing all kinds of things to happen? How can that be? And we call ourselves the elders. Sometimes I just don't get it. I really and truly don't. I don't get it. But maybe it's not for me to get. What's for me is for me. And what God has given me, I am truly thankful for. I am. And I'm going to keep standing on that wall. I always tell you that, there are ways to fix this. It's not going to be easy. It's going to be hard. But when you got young people like young Dolph, who was trying to change his life, he know where he came from. Paper Route Entertainment. He came out of Castelia. We know where he came from. But he was giving back to his community. He was trying in his own way and from where he came from. And even if you listen to his music, he talked about change. He talked about trying to do better. But see, we have to give our young people an avenue to do better. We have to make sure that those young people that are trying have the ability to get ahead without robbing, stealing, and killing. That's our responsibility. We have to start teaching our young mothers that, hey, look, a dude is a dude, man. A man's responsibility is to take care of our women, to protect and guard our women, to lift up our women as queens. But if we don't do that, then they're going to feel less than. They're looking for love in all the wrong places. They don't know what true love is. Because if you got to stand out in the middle of the street and fight over a dude, what does that say about you, sweetie? Used to be a time when dudes fought over women. And I will tell you, young ladies, if you hold yourself in high esteem and you, oh, Lord, I just feel it today. I'm just feeling it. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it. I'm telling you. Like I said, it is the year anniversary of young Dolph's death. Don't let all of these young people die in vain. Let's learn from what's going on. Let's try to put mechanisms in place that mothers don't have to cry. Wives don't have to cry. Fathers don't have to cry because they're losing their loved ones and their babies in this city. And that's a great segue. I got a great guest that's in the studio with me today. I thought Ride of Tears was going to be here. All right, Kenny Lee, I told you, see, you left me hanging. But I thought Ride of Tears was going to be here. I was going to cover them the first half. And then the second half of the show, I have a wonderful foundation that's in the city that's working to assist the kids of homicide victims. And they can help you to kind of maneuver your way through. Plus, they also do things to try to engage the children that are left behind. God's Son, the Forgotten One. That's an organization that's here in the city of Memphis. And we have Miss Barbara Blake in the studio. And we're going to kind of talk to her after the commercial break in regards to why did this organization have to be even started? So guess what? We're going to take a real quick commercial break. Don't touch that dial. We'll be right back.
The Sophisticated Ladies invite you to our annual Christmas Red Carpet Affair, Saturday, December 10th, 2022, at the Clarion Hotel and Suites, formerly the Holiday Inn Select, 2240 Democrat Road, Memphis, Tennessee. Music by the legendary Doctor. Special guest performance by none other than Mr. Sam.
I changed my mind. That's all I need to know. But baby, can we dance just one time before we go? Jump up, roll it, jump back, roll it to the left, roll it back to.
Tickets are going fast. Yes, they're on sale now. $30 in advance, $40 at the door. Red carpet starts at 8 p.m. You don't want to miss the Sophisticated Ladies Christmas Red Carpet Affair. So get your tickets and you be there. Miss Blanche Jones, founder and president.
You're talking about a good time shield. We all come on now.
From Memphis Center Stage Gospel season premieres Sunday, 8 p.m. Central.
Ladies, do you feel feminine during your feminine flow? You know, your monthly cycle? Your period? Are you still suffering in silence? The suffering is over. It's time to choose Rain. Rain is an all-natural, premium sanitary napkin with 8 layers of cotton, high-grade polymers, graphene to help cut bacteria by 99.9%. Ladies, let's protect the most precious jewel in the world, you.
Rain Premium Sanitary Napkins do not make any medically backed claims or personal recommendations of any kind. For more information, contact Marilyn McGee.
And good evening. Welcome back to Memphis 360, the television show that we said we like to go from the boardroom to the streets. Once again, this is the 1-year anniversary of the homicide, murder of young Dolph, who was a prominent rapper here in the city of Memphis. Local boy, made good, became a millionaire, came back to Memphis to give turkeys out at Thanksgiving time. And he was here to do a good deed, and his life was taken right here in the city of Memphis. And it's so unfortunate, in his own neighborhood. And all the young man wanted to do that day was to get some cookies. They have 3 individuals that are in custody for allegedly committing the crime or plotting his death and different things like that. So we'll see how all of that plays out. But I have Miss Barbara Blake in the studio. Yeah, she is from an organization called God's Son, the Forgotten One. Welcome to the studio, Miss Barbara.
Well, thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for taking the opportunity and the time to come. So tell us a little bit tell us your story. What made you want to start this organization, or how did you get tied up in this?
Well, unfortunately, September 2017, my middle son, Eric, he was the victim of homicide. The state has a victims compensation program. However, depending on the circumstances of the case and how the report is written up, determines on whether or not the family is eligible for victims compensation.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
So in my son's case, it didn't work in his favor for his children. So his children was denied victims compensation. That didn't sit well with me. It wasn't so much about the money, but it's once they're denied victims compensation, then they're also denied being able to participate in any other programs that the city may have for victims of homicide.
Oh, wow.
Because their name doesn't go on the list, or the detective doesn't make that referral for them to reach out to the family. So that's what inspired me, because my mom was was a victim of homicide when I was 5. So I know firsthand how that feels.
Wait, stop. You say your mother?
My mother was a victim of homicide.
Was that here in Memphis?
No, I'm originally from Chicago.
Okay.
So that was in Chicago.
But your son, he was a victim of a homicide here in Memphis?
Here in Memphis.
Okay.
In 2017.
Okay.
So I say that to say I understand how it feels to be a child that loses your parent to homicide.
Oh, wow.
You know what I'm saying? And that has a large impact on that child's life. You know, I'm 57 years old, and till this day, I can't tell you why I was embarrassed for anyone to know that my mother was deceased.
Wow.
I don't understand, you know, why
And
I
she
felt
was
that
and
way.
she was a victim.
Yeah, she was a victim. My mother was a witness to a robbery.
Oh.
And so they retaliated against her. Yeah. And so when I lost Eric and his children was denied, I decided that's what inspired me to start this organization to help the children of homicide victims, because we just can't turn our backs on these children. They need love as well, you know, and it has a large impact. And not just that, as a mother, my husband was killed in a car accident when my children were very young. So I have 3 and 3. I call them the Brady Bunch. But with my boys, I never really had any problems raising my children because, you know, I noticed a change in the people that they start to hang around. And I reached out. I reached out to, unfortunately, family members, a couple uncles.
Wow.
Hey, you know, the boys is reaching an age now. Can you talk to them? And nobody responded. Matter of fact, I had one person tell me I don't have time for knucklehead children. And so when I think back on that and how it was for me, and like I said, with losing my son, I wanted to do something to reach out to a different path. You know, it helps out a lot.
Yes.
And you know, you touched on so many great points, and I'm trying to stay focused, but
It's okay.
we have to take, like you said, responsibility
Yes.
in our community.
Yes.
You know, we got to stop looking for politicians,
Yep.
officials
Yep.
to take care of our problem. It's a us thing, and we have to take care of that.
Yeah.
You know, when you know your children better than anybody, so don't encourage that behavior. Don't take up for your children when you know that they're wrong. You know little Johnny over here done robbed this old lady down the street, but yet you're hiding him.
We know what's going on in our community.
Absolutely.
We know who doing it. We know who did it to who. We know all of the details of the things that are occurring in our communities, yet nobody wants to say anything.
Exactly.
And nobody wants to be a part of it, as long as it does not affect your family. But then as soon as something happened to your little Johnny,
Absolutely.
now you want everybody, don't nobody want to say nothing. Well, you didn't want to say nothing.
Absolutely.
At some point, we have to stand up.
And take responsibility.
Exactly.
You know, we live especially the younger people, and some people our generation, you know, you want to hide behind this no snitch code. But as you stated,
Snitches get stitches.
when it's your family member, you want someone to come forth and give information. So we have to help the children, you know, and so with the foundation, it gives me an opportunity
Okay.
to interact with children, because unless you've lived it or you walked in those shoes, you have no idea how that feels. So when you have children that have experienced the same thing, that can come together, we do workshops, you know, arts and crafts. We have a couple people that's on standby for counseling if the kids need it.
Wow.
You know, whatever it is that we can do to help fill that void in a certain way, you know, because you can't replace
The
what they
parent.
have lost.
Yeah.
You know, but you can somewhat try to help fill that void. And that's what we do. And unfortunately, there's a lot of work in our community that needs to be done. There's enough work for everybody to jump in. But the truth of the matter is, when it's something positive, people tend to be a little hesitant.
Wow.
You know, because about 3 or 4 weeks ago, I was at the community center, that's the McFarland Community Center on 4955 Cottonwood. And that's pretty much where we are working out of right now. And I was there about 3 weeks ago, sitting out front, put the information out that I will be registering the children because we have an upcoming event. Very few people came out. You know, and this foundation, we're not asking anything from anybody, just for you to bring the children, you know, and they can spend some time, and we can try to help them cope, you know. But unfortunately, like I said, when it's something positive, people tend to be a little leery or hesitant to be a part of it. But at the end of the day, it still go on now. We're going to be there regardless. Yeah, we're going to be there.
Right. And you know, it's so sad. Parents have to take an active role.
Absolutely.
Because, you know, you have to be an individual that directs and guides your child. Just like you said, you know, you noticed that at the age of 15, 16, your sons were starting to act a little different, hanging out around different people, and you reached out for help. Well, see, but as a parent, as a caring parent, those were some of the things that you did. So we got to stop complaining, because just like you also mentioned, we know our children.
That's right.
We know them from the time that they were born all the way up through toddler, adolescence, what have you, and we know when they start to change. You know, I tell the people all the time, my son is 6'3", about 250, 260, and he played football, and I was there every day. And I noticed one day he got a little, about 15, 16. I think at that time he was probably about 250 then, you know, and all he did was lift weights and played football. But I had to get at him.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Because I could tell that he was starting to smell his funk. And one day we were in the kitchen, and he did something that I did not like. And the next thing I know, I had jumped up, swept his feet from under him, jumped down in his chest, bam, you know. And he was like, whoa, hey, wait. I said, let me tell you something. Partner, I don't care how big you get. I don't care what you think. This is my house.
Absolutely.
And in my house, respect will be shown. Because I think he had said something off color to his mom. And I was like, that's my wife.
That's right.
If any other man did that, I'd kill him. Don't think you any different, you know. Of me, lies.
Exactly.
Lies. They need to be afraid of somebody. They need to know that you mean business, you know. And if nothing else, you ain't finna do it in my space. If you're gonna do something, you're gonna go way over there in the booth in the back in the corner in the dark and keep it away from me. But you ain't finna do it in my space. You're not gonna show me nothing but respect in my space or anybody else that's around me in my space.
Absolutely.
There
Well,
has
see,
to be respect.
That's right. Well, the truth of the matter is the parents is the first authority figure.
Yes.
So if the child doesn't have any regard or concerns about the consequences when it comes down to being respectful toward the parents, how could you expect them to be respectful toward anyone
Anybody else? Yes.
You know,
Yes.
and so we've gotten to this point now where discipline a child is abuse. You know, so many people seem to think, but that's a lot of the problem, the reason why the children are the way they are.
Exactly.
You know, kids now, they're exposed to more information that they should be exposed to, you know,
Yeah.
and we were shielded from that. You know, a lot of things that the kids are exposed to today, we didn't have that. And if we had that, we'd be like they are, you know, so kids need to be in a child's place. They don't need to be exposed to the things that they are. And we're so quick to give these children cell phones. We don't put the restrictions on them or anything. And so you have no idea who your child is communicating with. And I truly believe that's why some of the children come up missing, because you don't know who they're communicating with.
Right.
You know,
right.
and then the change in the behavior, you don't know who's influencing them.
Somebody lure them off somewhere.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, you know, all that plays a part. And that's why we as parents, we need to stand our ground and be parents. But unfortunately, in a lot of cases, people don't want you to be an influence in their children's lives.
So how long has God's Son, the Forgotten One, how long has it been in existence?
Since 2018, we started a year after we lost Eric.
Oh, wow. And what is that four-leaf clover? What that mean?
Well, the four-leaf clover represents St. Patrick's Day because that's the date that Eric was born, on St. Patrick's Day.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Wow. Okay, so you say you guys got an event coming up here
December
recently.
3rd.
Okay.
December 3rd.
Tell us a little bit about it.
It's at the McFarland Community Center, 4955 Cottonwood.
Okay.
And so it's called Holiday Celebration.
Okay.
And so we're going to have the children, can't give you too much of it, but the children are going to perform.
Oh.
We have a couple people that's going to come and speak. I talked to Stevie Moore.
Okay, Stevie Moore.
Stevie Moore is going to come. So after the performance, we're going to have dinner for the children. And so it's just, yes, we're moving up. Every year we get better and better.
Uh-oh.
And so it's going to be a lot of fun. It's open to the public. But keep in mind now, tomorrow at 6 p.m., we're going to be at the McFarland Community Center. We're going to have rehearsal for the event. So it's not too late. If you want your child to be a part of this event and they have lost their parents or siblings to homicide, they're welcome to join in.
Oh, wow.
All you have to do is give me a call, 901-463-4211, and we can get them in. It's not too late. So the event is December 3rd, and we will be more than happy to have them join in.
So you're going to have the children whose parents or siblings or whomever were victims of
Homicide victims.
Remember-
Seasons of Remembrance.
Seasons of
Yeah,
Remembrance. That's when they
Seasons of
set the
Remembrance.
Christmas tree up down there
Absolutely,
and put
down
all
the
of the
street.
little
Yes.
little bows and
Yes.
all of the little trinkets or ornaments
Right.
on the tree or what have you. And that's where I first met Miss Barbara. She was down there, her and her organization was down there helping out with that. Do you know if they're going to have that this year?
Yes, but I'm thinking this year is going to be at University of Memphis.
Oh,
Yeah, I received the email. It's not going to be at City Hall.
so D.A. Mulroy is moving it to University
Yes.
of Memphis? Okay.
Yes,
yeah.
I believe it's November 28th.
Okay, okay. So we're going to have the children at the McFarland Community Center on the 3rd of December.
Yes,
What time?
from 1 to 5 p.m.
From 1 to 5. Is that a Saturday?
That's a Saturday.
Oh, okay, cool. Okay, so they're going to be out there performing and doing their thing.
Yes.
So you're not originally from Memphis.
No,
What made you want to come to Memphis?
because Memphis, believe it or not, slower pace. I didn't want to raise the children in the city.
Trying to get out of the
Chicago.
hustle and bustle of
Yeah,
Chicago.
yeah.
You hear that, Chastity? You hear that, Chastity? Chastity Hill on here, she's from Chicago. She's a native Chicagoan.
Yes,
And my wife is a native Chicagoan too. So she's here from Chicago as well. A lot of people are starting to want to settle here in the city of Memphis from Chicago, Detroit, different places, trying to get away from a lot
Right.
of the time here in the city of Memphis as well. So how are you supported? How's your organization supported?
Well, we get donations, but
Okay.
for the most part, because this means a lot to me. It really do.
okay.
I work 72 hours a week.
What?
I do. And so the extra money, the overtime, it goes into the foundation.
72 hours a week.
I do. I'm dedicated to this thing because if I can help just one child, I want to be that person if someone call and say, look, can you talk to my child? Can you help me out? I want to be able to be an inspiration. You know what I'm saying? So it means that much to me. Matter of fact, I'm going to share a story. I won't give the name. I was at the community center 3 weeks ago. I mentioned that
Okay.
to register the kids.
Right.
And I was sitting out front, and I went in the back to get something. So I heard a voice say, can I use your phone? So I said, well, talk to the young lady in the office right there. And so I proceeded to the back. And when I came back, and this was one of the staff members at the community center, she says, is that young lady okay? She seems to be upset. And so I said, I'm not sure. Let me go see. So when I went outside, I saw her walking down the street. So I called for her to come back, and she was crying. And I said, are you okay? She says, well, no. My mom threw me out,
Oh, wow.
and my cell phone is dead. And I'm trying to get in touch with my grandmother. And I says, well, where are you going? She said, I don't know. Now, this was over where the McFarland Community Center is.
Right.
And this young lady, the family member that she was trying to get in touch with lived in Olive Branch. So I said, well, young lady, I can't just let you walk the streets. Anything can happen. But long story short, I was able to talk to that young lady.
Okay.
She sat down and she told me what was going on with her, so I made contact with her family member, and she keeps in contact with me today.
Oh, wow.
And I was able to mend that fence between her and that family member. And like I told her, I said, look, you got to get it together.
How old was this young lady?
19 years old.
Wow. See,
19
our young
years
people,
old. You can't just, and I understand because I raised 6. Sometimes when young people get to the point you can't tell them anything. But with this young lady, it was just something about her. No children, never been in trouble, with law enforcement, anything.
Wow.
And so I was telling her family member, I said, look, we can't turn our back on her. If you don't want to let her stay with you, let's get her into job court. Let's do something. But I say all that to say God has a purpose and plan for all of us. And my purpose and my plan is to be here to help the children as well as the young people.
Wow.
Because if we be honest, I don't know about you, Mike, but when I was in my 20s, I wasn't what you see today. So we all have done some things that we're not proud of, so we can't get to a certain age in our life and act as though we've never done any wrong.
Not me, Miss Barbara. I was always the good. No, I'm just kidding.
I know, right?
Look, I'm just kidding. You know,
I
and
know.
I saw Deacon Reed just call me, but one of my little deals is I'm a minister as well. And I preached a sermon one time, if I could just open up your closet.
Exactly.
And the
right.
reason I preached that sermon was because stripper pole, whatever, you had little young boys coming in there who were probably gang members, but they were tired and they were looking for refuge.
Absolutely.
And a lot of these mothers and deacons and people like that, they ran them up out of the church.
Exactly.
You know, with that. Whereas a lot of the deacons and the mothers, okay, I get it. You know, but you ain't always been like this.
That's right.
You know,
That's right.
I know you.
That's right.
See, you got 7 kids by 7 different men,
Okay,
but now you're a mother.
Exactly.
You understand what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So back in your heyday, you were out there. And, you know, that's the thing. We got to stop forgetting. Time is changing. Like you were saying, technology and the access to information and, you know, the crack epidemic tore the family structure up.
Yes.
You know, and then in Chicago, part. And a lot of these children are out here raising themselves. And we forget sometimes that they need a safety net.
Absolutely.
They need a safety net, or they need a second chance, or they need somebody to have hope in them. I run into young boys out here in the streets, thugging. But they see me, and they go, oh, hey, Mr. Williams.
Absolutely.
You know, and I'm like, hey, you know me? Yeah, I know you. You that dude always talking. I said, oh, okay. Man, I love what you be saying, man, and I wish, you know, they have hope. And Mr. Williams, it's crazy out here. It's like a combat zone. It's just, man, don't give up, though, Mr. Williams. Don't give up on us. I see Angel over there. I ain't paying Angel no attention. But anyway, so Angel over there waving her little cards at me, y'all. 1 minute, on the battlefield. She's trying to do something really, really good for the city of Memphis. But guess what? You can't do stuff without support. And they're having this event on the 3rd of December. Man, if you can support, I would really, really, really appreciate it. Tell these people how they could donate to your organization.
You can go to the website, www.forgetaboutme.com. www.forgotaboutme.com. And not just that, you know, I truly understand that a lot of times people are hesitant to make donations because you really don't know what's going on. So come out on the 3rd.
Hey.
Come out December 3rd and just see what we're all about, you know. But you can also go to the website because whenever we have events, I post the pictures. So once again, that's www.forgotaboutme.com. And it'll give you a little information and history on what we're doing.
You got a Cash App, too. Tell about that Cash App.
Yes, that's the number 4GOT-ABOUT. 4GOT-ABOUT. And that's on the website as well. Yeah.
Hey, man, if you can, and some of you good donors out there, some of these big organizations, Community Lift, or Community this, or Community that, or city council person, or county commission person, organizations like this, man, they need your help, all right? You can want to do good and want to do all the good in the world, but sometimes, you know, you have to have financial support in order to be able to do that. So if you can, please, please, please donate to God's Son, the Forgotten One. And I don't care if it's $1, I don't care if it's $5. Cash App them something, all right? Because you got the holidays coming up and everybody's trying to do something for kids. Memphis is known as one of the most giving cities in the United States, okay? And man, I just appreciate y'all. I done been through a lot this week. Please pray for me, pray for my family. God is truly still good and in the blessing business. So until next week, same time, same location, be blessed, be strong, be encouraged, and we'll see you right here next week. Bye.
The Sophisticated Ladies invite you to our annual Christmas Red Carpet Affair, Saturday, December 10th, 2022, at the Clarion Hotel and Suites, formerly the Holiday. Music by the
Jump up, roll it, jump back, roll it to the left, roll
are going fast. Yes, they're on sale now. $30 in advance, $40 at the door. Red carpet starts at 8 p.m. You don't want to miss the Sophisticated Ladies Christmas Red Carpet Affair. So get your tickets and you be there. Miss Blanche Jones, founder and president.
You're talking about a good time shield. When we all come on now.
Center Stage Gospel Music live from Memphis, Tennessee, featuring gospel artists from around the world. Toe tapping, hand clapping, down-home gospel music. Watch on Roku, Fire TV, Apple TV, and your local Comcast. Download the SVP TV app now on your smart television and mobile device.